Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here. Welcome back to the railway and welcome back to the model railway news for March. I hope you're all doing okay now that so-called spring is here, although personally I haven't seen anything even remotely resembling spring yet, but fingers crossed it's on the way very soon. Anyway, I've got lots of news to share with you today, lots of product updates from the industry, so let's jump straight in with that. And I guess we'll start with the headline item, and that is Hatton's. Now, following the closure of Hatton's earlier this year, there was a lot of questions about the future of the Hatton's brand, and more importantly, the future of the Hatton's directory, which was a very popular and excellent resource. Well, now those questions have been answered. In a recent post, Rails of Sheffield's announced that they've purchased the Hatton's brand, and soon they'll be relaunching the Hatton's website/directory. Except now, of course, the directory will link to Rails of Sheffield product listings rather than Hatton's ones as it did before. Now for me, this is fantastic news. I used to use the directory all the time and I was really sad to see it go. So the fact that it's got a future now is fantastic news in my opinion. I also know that it was Jack from Hatton's that put in so much time and effort into creating the directory, so for him particularly it would have been heartbreaking to see the directory just thrown away and never used again. And in fact, Jack himself has been snapped up by Rails of Sheffield now. He's working with them as their new marketing and content manager, and hopefully that means he'll still be working on the directory, which hopefully also means that its level of excellence can be maintained. So great news, we're not losing the Hatton's directory. Apparently it's going to be relaunched on their website very soon, which is fantastic news. The next update comes from Rapido. Now last month they soft announced their Caledonia fireless locomotives, and when I covered this last month they hadn't actually announced any of the details. Well, now they have, so we can go over those in a little bit more detail. So the models are going to be made from die-cast metal and injection molded plastic, so we don't know exactly what parts will be die-cast and which parts will be plastic, but there's at least some die-cast on board, which is good to hear. They've also got an E24 decoder socket, and I don't believe I've ever seen anything with that socket in it before, so that's going to be something new to me. Presumably it's very small so that it fits into the fireless loco. And here's a picture I found of the decoder if anyone's interested in what it looks like. They've also announced the price, which doesn't seem too bad to be honest. So the RRP for the DCC ready version is £139.95, or at the retailers with the slight discount, it's going to be £118.95. So not cheap, but about the going rate for a loco of that size. And hopefully if it's quality, then that will be a reasonable price. As you can see, there's also tons of different liveries to choose from, so do check those out if you're interested. In their newsletter, they also posted a small update on their E1 locomotive, showing this new sample. Now it looks like a running chassis, but as far as I can tell, they haven't posted a video of it in action yet, so we might have to wait a little while to see that. They have, however, announced a brand new livery for the E1 locomotive, and that is this, the Marsh Goods black livery with the double red lining. And they say that this livery was seen on locomotive 110 between 1912 and 1924. A new running sample that they have posted a video of, though, is their new Jones Goods locomotive. This one's painted into the 1960s Rail Tour yellow, and I've got to say it looks absolutely marvellous, and it seems to run perfectly as well. And I've got to say I'm really excited about this one. Now that we've seen it in pretty much its final state, they have said that there are some minor updates to make, but presumably this is roughly what it's going to look like. We can really start looking forward to this one now, and hopefully it's not too far away either. In other news, they've also shared an image of the first few raw parts from their upcoming SECR01 locomotive. The photo shows that the firebox, boiler and cab are unmistakably die-cast. which hopefully means that a good and heavy model is on the way. So it's going to be quality, and that's not too bad given the price of this, which is only £169.99 at the retailers. I think we've seen a lot worse than that, haven't we? So lots and lots of exciting products on the way from Rapido. Don't know which I'm most excited about, but they all look fantastic. Late last year, Heljan announced a new Garrett locomotive, which was the LNER U1. And it was a pretty cool choice for a new model, frankly, because there was never a larger and more powerful British loco than that. And next year, it's going to be celebrating 100 years since it was first introduced. So a very good choice of model. And now they've just revealed a new engineering sample for it. Seems to have quite a bit more detail, actually, than their old LMS Garrett. And with a bit of luck, the mechanism and features will be closer to modern standards as well. Now, this is an expensive model, as I have talked about before. The full price is £399, and with 15% off at the retailers, they're around £339. So a lot more expensive than the LMS Garrett. Hopefully that will be reflected in the models. The next update comes from Dapol, who have just announced another batch of very affordable wagons, which are supposed to be coming out in April. So they've made use of their UK factory facilities and their UV printer to bring us these complex new liveries. So there's the Sandstone Brewery livery, which looks pretty cool. Quite a few chocolate liveries this time as well, so let's jump into those. There's the Cadbury's Dairy Milk one in the sort of vintage style, which I like a lot. There's the Bourneville one, so again, a Cadbury's one. If you're not a Cadbury's fan, there's a Fry's Chocolate one as well. And there's also a twin pack in the Wrexham Lager livery, as well as some other wagons as well. Now, the price for these is very reasonable indeed. The full RRP is £13, and even that's not bad, but at the retailers, obviously it's cheaper still at just a hair over £11. Now, the images Dapol have shared appear to show the new wheels and coupling design that they've been working on, which will hopefully breathe a new lease of life into these models. So if they work well, and I'm going to get some to review and check that they do, then these will be a very, very compelling budget offering. So that's great to see. Dapol's Great Western Top Light mainline city coaches are now in stock too, or at least the first few examples are. Now, the versions of the model that I've ordered to review haven't come into stock yet, so I'm not quite ready for the review yet, but looking at the photos that the retailers have posted, they look absolutely beautiful. They seem to be extremely well built and well decorated, which is good to see. I've also noticed a kind of frosted glass effect on some of the smaller upper windows, which I don't think I've ever seen before on a coach, so I'm quite interested to see that up close to see how realistic it looks. It does look good though, and I will be doing a full review of these as soon as the rest come into stock, so do watch this space. Again, very excited for those. Next up, following my video on the state of the Hornby TT range, Hornby have just released a brand new TT locomotive, and it is this, the HST. Now, at the time of filming, it's only this executive pack in the Swallow livery that's available, but apparently the rest are on the way very soon. They start at just less than £200 at £197.99 at the retailers, and for that you obviously get the dummy and the power car. For £296.99 though, you can get the full HM7000 DCC sound version, which is strange because that's £99 more expensive than the DCC ready version, yet the HM7000 decoders are only £62.99. So from that we can deduce that there is a decoder in each vehicle, hopefully a sound decoder in each vehicle, which means that you're getting quite a discount on the HM7000 decoders there. So the DCC sound version does seem to be pretty good value. Again, I've got one of the other variants pre-ordered, so watch this space if you're interested in a review. On to Hornby's OO scale news then, and the first thing to talk about is that a couple of new Ruston 88 diesel shunters have now come into stock. And it's both of the green ones, so there's the privately owned Roundtree and Company green, and also the very similar but not quite the same BR green. Both of these look lovely, obviously, and quite different from the BR blue version that I reviewed. And if you're interested in seeing what the new Hornby Ruston is like, I'll pop a link to that review up there for you. Their engine shed blog also revealed the final sample of their Ruston in the North British Distillery livery, which looks amazingly unusual. I think that is my favourite of the 88 DS liveries that Hornby have announced to date, and hopefully this means that that won't be long until it arrives either, so good stuff. The blog also showed a render for Locomotion number 1, which shows exactly what the paintwork and livery will look like. So we've got wood cladding on the boiler, which looks pretty effective, and they've also got a nice wood effect on the tender as well. It also shows fully painted figures in their final positions, and we can also see the colour of the various valve gear and moving rods. It is a very realistic and effective render, but that's all it is. It's not a decorated sample at this stage, but it gives a great idea of what that model's going to look like. So it's actually quite an impressive machine. We've seen the running sample already. I guess the next step will be to see the actual model painted like this, and hopefully it will be quite an impressive spectacle. Finally, Hornby have showed this final decorated sample of their new Black 5, now that those amendments from last time have been made. So that handrail that was all wonky before has now been straightened out, and it looks fantastic. Hornby have also reminded us some of the impressive features that this Black 5 is going to ship with. So first of all, it's got working directional lighting on both the loco and the tender. So that means working lamps that you can also remove and put in different positions, which is a great innovation. I like that a lot. It's also got a flickering firebox in the cab, which is a standard feature now, but great to see nonetheless. It is going to feature the new loco to tender drawbar connector, which allows for easy coupling and uncoupling without any tools. You just push them together and pull them apart. So again, that's good to see on a new model. It also comes with painted crew figures apparently, which is great to see, and even a couple of snowplows will be included in the accessories bag. So it's a very feature-packed model, which of course it should be because it costs a fortune, but like with the Turbo Motive, it is great to see Hornby giving us as many features as they possibly can in order to help justify that price. And I think if they've got to have these high prices, that is the best way to deal with them. Anyway, that's just about it for this episode of the Model Railway News. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do comment below and let me know what you think. And if there's anything I've missed that you think deserved a mention, also comment down below and let me know what that is. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon for some more videos. Alright, cheers folks, you take care.